Activism today can take many different forms. Sokeel Park works with defectors from North Korea to accelerate change in the dictatorship.
North Korean people don't have a hope to gather and actually make a change.
Nimko Ali leads a global campaign to end the barbaric practice of female genital mutilation.
The female anatomy is very much policed by culture and religion around the world. It doesn't matter whether you're Somali, whether you're East African or even living in East London.
Ratcliffe campaigns for the release of his wife from an Iranian prison.
For me, the most important part of my activism is campaigning, it's speaking out, it's raising Nazanin's story to the world at large.
3 different activists talk about their campaigns and what they think it takes to be an activist in the 21st century.
If you look at activism around the world, there seems to be an amazing sort of flowering of different approaches being taken to tackle these deep-seated problems. What does it take to bring about change in today's world?
So I think that one of the key conditions is hope and momentum, and that is something that the North Korean government has been so effective in denying the North Korean people, that you can work with the North Korean people to undermine the North Korean government's control or degrade their ideologies. And so that can look like different methods to get information and foreign media and so on to the North Korean people. One of the main ways that our organization does it is by working with North Koreans who are leaving the country. So whether you want to call them refugees, defectors, or exiles, working with North Koreans who have left in order to try and empower them as agents of change back into the country. And we try and build a platform for North Koreans who have left the country to use their voice so that the world can see North Korea as not just Kim Jong-un and missiles, but see North Korea as a country from the perspective of North Korean people, which I think is so lacking in the conversation about that issue.
Okay, Nimko, I'd like to come to you.
Nimko Ali's activism grew from her personal experience as a survivor of female genital mutilation, or FGM.
For me, breaking the silence has been the fundamental basis of my activism, and not being ashamed of something that happened to me, but really trying to get the world to understand that. And for me, it was about lobbying the systems around the issues of FGM, because they were very much British girls like me who were being subjected to the practice. But now it's about supporting the African-led movement. So I think that's been the connections between the personal endeavour to the FIVE Foundation, which is a global activism programme to really ensure that we end FGM by 2030.
Okay, and what form does the activity of the FIVE Foundation take? So what can you actually do on the ground? What are the tactics in practice?
So the fundamental role of the FIVE Foundation is a global partnership. The work to end FGM is being done by women on the front line in Africa. So what I do personally is to elevate those stories, to get the public finance and public and private sectors in order to invest in that. So for me, it's to be an advocate on behalf of the women that are really doing the work.
Richard, I'd like to come to you now.
Ratcliffe became an activist in 2016 when his wife, Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, was accused of plotting to overthrow the Iranian government.
I stumbled into this, was a middle-aged accountant. Nazanin, my wife, was arrested on holiday, and we've muddled our way through it. You know, part of being an activist is being belligerent and difficult, and it's just, the world doesn't have to be like this. This is nonsense. And just to keep battling away, and for me, that's changed over time. You know, an order of life is just getting noticed. And there's kind of a creative anarchy the whole time of looking for different things to do. So, for instance, recently this summer we had a hunger strike. That we didn't plan on doing it, just Nazanin went on and I joined her. We set up in front of the Iranian embassy to do it. And actually then lots of supporters, it wasn't us, came along and started decorating the walls of the embassy with post-it notes that they'd seen the guys in Hong Kong doing. And there was a way in which actually, you know, a lot of campaigning is making it up as you go along. Just to keep on trying, keep on hoping, keep on battling, keep on being clear that, listen, you know, world, notice this, it's not acceptable. The authorities won't, and the job is to be belligerent. So, I'm grateful for the opportunity.
And so you have to constantly change tactics. Is sort of part of. There's no right way of doing this.
Yeah, you know, you can try something, it'll work for a while, and then it won't work. Some things will work much better than expected. Some things will not work. Some things will not work and then will work. And there's a lot of sort of just patience and energy. The most important thing is to keep that hope that the world can be different, the world should be different, and you know, by God will I make it.